Hey guys, we're back with another video here and an important topic, which is how do we make our secondary pages. So far we've only been working on an index page and we haven't really gotten much past that, so most websites of course are made of more than just one page. So let's see how we do that here. So here I have my code for my index page, right? This is as far as we've gotten, but I have it complete. I have my links, I have my content, my layout's nice and done, there it is, right? Everything is complete exactly where I need it to be. And as long as I'm happy with this, I would say this is a good point to start making secondary pages. Okay, and I'm going to make these two pages here. I have a 3-page layout here, a practice schedule, and a contact page, which we haven't made yet. So that's what we'll do here in this tutorial. And I have some other files here. These are just from previous tutorials, other videos, so let's get rid of them so you guys don't get confused. Those pages aren't actually part of my website. I'll get rid of this text file as well. We don't need that. So here's my website. Just my index page, my images, and my CSS. There's nothing else to it at this point. That's all we've done in this class. So let's make the other pages. So one of the things I like to tell people is don't make your other pages until you get really, really far with your initial layout on your index page, because if you have at least your links done like I do here, I know where I'm going to link to, right? I'm going to link to a schedule.html, a contact.html. The content might change for each of those individual pages, but at least my links are complete and I don't have to go back and redo those for every individual page. This is why I like to wait until I've completed my index page, even if the content's fake, or if the content isn't in, as long as my layout and my navigation is exactly how I need it to be, that's my minimum for making secondary pages, then I move forward, even if I add my content in later. So the first thing I do is to make sure that the original is saved, which it is, and then I do a save as, and what this does is it creates a second file. So I'm not overriding my index file, I'm actually creating a second file. So here's my index file. What I'm going to do is actually make a second file, and I'm going to name this schedule.html. As soon as I hit save, what's going to happen is it's going to create a second file. It's not going to override that initial index. So here's my schedule.html. It's now changed. If I wanted to open the other file, I still could. There it is, index. We'll go ahead and open it. And these two right now are identical. There's nothing different between them. They're the exact same page, other than one's named schedule.html and one's named index. So what I'll do here is I'm going to create my third page, contact. Alright, so now I have 3 pages that are all exactly the same. Contact page, which is this one, my index page, and I'll go ahead and open my schedule page. So now I have all 3 pages, and if I wanted to, I could link between the 3 in my layout. Problem is that they all have the exact same content now. So now you can go in and start making some edits, right? So everything looks the same. This is my schedule.html, looks exactly the same as my index. But let's say I needed to have that page look a little different. Let's say I needed my schedule page to not have a sidebar maybe, and only have a content area for whatever reason. We can do that. They're all still getting their information from this main.css, okay? And here's the CSS page. It's now linked to this as well, right? They're all linked to the exact same CSS page still, so we just need to add to that CSS page if we want to make changes. So let's say I don't need my sidebar for my schedule.html page. I'll get rid of that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the name of the ID on my main content area, because this is going to be different on my schedule page than my home page. Alright, so this has to be a different ID. Can't be the same ID in this case because it needs to look different. So if I hit refresh here, it should mess up. There we go. My sidebar is gone. And now my content, while it looks okay, it's actually butted up against all the edges here. I need to make some changes to make this look a little nicer. So let's go to my CSS. I'm going to scroll down here to where I have my main content, the original ID that used to be there. Okay, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it because I'm just going to make some changes. I'm going to call this one schedule content, which I think is what I named the other one, right there, schedule content. If I go back to my index page here for the main content, it's right here, right? So it's the exact same thing, I just renamed it on my schedule page. So I'm still going to use both of these, right? My main content still needs to be there for my index page, but now I have one called schedule content for my schedule page. So I'm just going to get rid of the values and properties that I don't need for my schedule page. I don't need to give it a width. I also don't need it to float left because there's no longer a sidebar. I want to keep the padding. I want to keep the background color. And I don't need this border because my border was only there because of the sidebar, if you remember from previous videos. So here's what my schedule content ID needs. So now if I save that and go look at the page and refresh it, there we go. The content is now bumped in using that padding. and it looks pretty good, right? And oops, close this up. So now I can go make changes to the content itself, and we'll change the header just as an example. Of course, you would want to change probably more than just the header in this case for your own websites, but we'll change it to theme schedule, and maybe my my secondary item here is a different heading, so we'll just change this to some other headline. Alright, so if I refresh it, there we go. Right, so now we can make believe all the content changed. I'm still linking between the three of these, so there's my home page, my practice schedule, my contact page. Now my contact page still matches my index page, so if I click between the two, there's no changes, so we've got to go make some changes there. And I'll just change the header so you can see the difference. And there we go. Now I have 3 different pages that do 3 different things, right? And obviously your pages might need more work than what I just did. It might take you a little bit longer to change up all the content and maybe add some different images or what have you, but as long as you start your index page, you get as far as you can on your index page, make sure your navigation works, make sure you're linked to the right CSS files, make sure everything looks good, and then you start saving as all your different files, this should be a piece of cake. Okay, all you gotta do is change the CSS as needed, add to your CSS as needed, add IDs as needed, because not all of your pages are going to use the same IDs, and add classes as needed and so forth, and change your HTML and your content as needed, and it's a piece of cake. So hopefully that makes sense, and that gets you on your path to getting started on your next pages. If you have any questions, let me know.